Alright guys, welcome back to episode 3. Finally we got the episode 2 uploaded. It took a little bit longer than expected, but this one, episode 3, if you're watching when it just came out, it's June 11th. So we are cooking through. Obviously we're going over what we made yesterday. We had, obviously, the parking lot already built overnight. We had a couple flat rides, the walkway down next to it, and obviously, did the pond and the little park. Now, before I started recording, I did put this section in here. I put a little bit of an incline, a little bit of a plateau, I guess we'll say. So I'm just smoothing out that edge next to it. But I put this in because obviously today we are building our first coaster. Now, nobody commented, so I did decide not steel, not hybrid, but wooden. Heck yeah. So, let's go. I do figure, I was looking at them, they got a couple different options. I do know my favorite kind. I'm going to go with the mod. It just kind of makes sense for the style coaster I'm going to be trying to build. I want to do almost the start of how, I guess, if anybody knows what, not Phoenix, but the Twister at Knoebels. I'm from PA, if you can't tell. It's obvious since I keep talking about Knoebels. The Twister has a start just similar to that, what I'm going to do here basically. So we're going to basically go downhill and then kind of loop and curve around and then start to climb the first hill. That's the main goal. I don't want to do a crazy long coaster or anything. I want to probably do minute or a little bit over for the ride time. The goal is definitely to make it a pretty quick paced but fun ride and nothing too crazy. Honestly, nausea is probably gonna try to be pretty low, but we want realistically fear and excitement probably around 5 or 6. That's definitely the goal here. But yeah, we're trying to do all of that and make this coaster still very fluent, if you know what I mean, very fluid, sorry, and kind of just make it make sense. I'm gonna try to curve around the trees. I'm gonna have to remove the tree, but curve it, kind of just get a nice little loop around, downhill, and then up into the lift hill. So now I gotta find a way to kind of straighten that path out and just make it so it doesn't go all the way to the edge of the park. Obviously it's turning red, just trying to keep it from the edge. I don't know why it's turning red there, technically I have some room, but who knows, maybe I did something that's causing that. But the goal was to make that a tight turn. Obviously we're not going super fast there, just off the station. So, and yeah, obviously we are going to build an actual station for this. It's not just going to be an open platform. But the goal for now is to do the full coaster and design first, and then do landscaping. The station is probably going to be second to last or last thing to build out. We're probably going to open it before then just to get people in the park, people riding it, see how people like it. But yeah, that's definitely the goal, obviously. So, I'm going to stop talking for a couple minutes here, and probably not going to be a couple minutes, but who knows. And we're going to get this section of the coaster built, and then we will go from there. So here I'm not really going to do like, a lot of the metal coasters and the wooden coasters have what you consider kind of just a second hill or secondary hill. Once you come down that first drop, it's kind of just that last minute, like big hill, and then there's kind of like the swoops or like the turns and the curves or helixes throughout the rest of the coaster. And then there's like those last minute bunny hills before the train station or before the coaster station before you come back in. This one instead, I kind of wanted to do that hill, but kind of on a different level. So instead of just going up and then back down, I kind of wanted to go up and curve and down at the same time, get a really solid large bank curve there. That was the goal. Obviously, I was thinking I'll just go straight down, but then I really kind of turned towards the idea of curving it back in again, keeping that momentum in that shape. That was definitely an idea. So, kind of change it up from the normal coaster, not just an out and back coaster. I wanted to make it something more fun, more energetic, especially for a first coaster. Don't want to just make a basic family coaster. I want to make something for everybody, but still something that's super fun and a lot more thrilling. So yeah, we're trying to curve it back into that same curve it was just in. We obviously had to bank it harder to keep it from causing too many like lateral and vertical G's. It'll cause more vertical than lateral now. So I'm going to keep that and just kind of curve around. We're going to have to come out the outside of it. So I always kind of thought that was a cool idea. I've done it in past coasters, usually a metal coaster, but I always thought that'd be a cool idea for a wooden coaster, the way they flow and everything. On the Phoenix, on the Twister at Knoebels, it's very similar. It has near the station, actually, there's two turns that come around like those banked curves like that at the low part, and they go almost on top of each other, and that's a really cool thing. And I didn't want to do that here, but wanted to make something maybe semi-similar to it. It's a wooden coaster as well, so I kind of figured it made sense. Obviously at this point we are going to try to come back towards the station, but we're obviously not trying to go directly back into the station. That'd be way too short. So the goal is going to be kind of straight out here, kind of maybe do like a little bit of a bunny hill, curve back down, and then go around the station and back to it afterwards. Go back towards the station, go around it, either over it or under it, and then go back away from it, and then curve back in. And that's when you kind of slow down, bring down the speed, bring down the energy, and then you go in. So for some reason I had like a major struggle here trying to figure out why I couldn't curve it back. I don't know why I kept doing that, but not a big deal. Obviously, so I want to just kind of preface that I had the idea originally to go underneath the station. What I didn't realize is I didn't have the speed to do so. I was really lacking in the speed department over here. So at this point, obviously I didn't do any coaster tests. I didn't start a test at all. I probably should have. Like I said, it's been a while since I've done it, and I probably just should have started a test. I know better. So going under the station, you would think, oh, it's going to go downhill, but then you have to think it has to now come back uphill. So if it doesn't have enough speed where I'm at right now, it's not going to have any speed by the time it tries to come back up to the station, because I'm already lower than the station. So yeah, obviously here, like I said, I tried to go under the station. I realized pretty quickly the moment I did the first test, which I don't think I recorded, I just did the first test and realized it's not going to make that. Even if I smoothed out the hills at all or lowered the amount of bunny hills or kind of made the bunny hills a little less prominent, it's still going to do the same thing. It's not going to have the speed because it didn't even make it slightly back up. It didn't pass the part where I'm at right now, basically. It got stuck right there. So obviously not an option. So this is the actual solution I came up with. So here I'm just kind of smoothing out the track. Obviously you want to make sure banking and everything is all very smooth, because if it's not, it's just not going to feel right. You know, especially for the people, it's really going to jerk them. It's going to throw them all over. I mean, obviously a wooden coaster is meant to be more of like a rough ride, I guess. But in the end, you know, you still want to make it realistic, smooth, proper. The way it banks, the way it turns, the way it goes up and back down. You just want to make that realistic. And obviously this was the solution. Go up over the station. Right prior to the station, you kind of come up over the track that finishes it off. It just makes more sense. I really couldn't see it another way, so I just felt like it's the only way to do it, and it already had enough speed at the top there, so if I could keep it going a little bit, and then bank it, turn it down, and come right into the station with some, just some brakes at the end, it'll slow it down just enough, and come into the station pretty smooth. I mean, it's only going probably about 25, 30 miles an hour right there, so by the time it starts to climb up into the station, put the brakes on, maybe doing 15 before the station, so it's perfect. The station mile an hour is 9 miles an hour, so it's perfect. So I mean, I guess the last thing we really could do is just obviously finish out the smoothing over here, and I'm gonna go take a ride. Oh, and also obviously forgot, I did want to make a little bit of like a tunnel, something to go through there. So I just kind of built up this building. Forgot about that. But I did that, so obviously it's going to be a proper roller coaster. There's going to be more terrain work and everything, more trees, rocks, everything throughout. Want to kind of make a theme to it, but also kind of want to keep it how it should be, how it is now. So the least I could say is, let's go for a ride. Well guys, hope you enjoyed that one, and I cannot wait to see you in the next episode tomorrow, June 12th. Let's get it. It's going to be doing all the theming for the roller coaster.